What's up, everybody?
What's up,
How we doing?
How's it going?
Dr. Nick.
Welcome to a Cuban Sunday. What's everybody got?
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Ooh.
There we go. There we go.
Monte Carlos.
It's a double Edmundo from Marvin he gave me.
Ooh.
You got the Senadores, Leo. Very nice.
Yes, sir.
2019 LE. Steven, what are you
Oh.
bumping?
QD54.
Oh. Oh. Ooh. Butter.
Butter.
That is butter.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe the 52 has a little more butter, but that's a great cigar. I thought I would do something, maybe kind of fun and see if the chat would choose what I should smoke.
There you go.
Nice.
I have three options here. One is the latest release that I'm aware of from Ramon Allones. It's the Absolutos, which is a 2024 limited edition. Beautiful, chocolatey, delicious smoke.
Nice.
The other one is just your kind of run-of-the-mill typical Cohiba Siglo 6 from 2019. And then this thing, it really piqued my interest. It's a Belgian exclusive Bolivar from, I believe, 2013. Stephen, am I
think you're on track with that. And I looked at that cigar in the humidor, and I was like, should I? I don't know.
Yeah, 2013, and this shape, although looking very much like a torpedo, is known as a very peculiar original vitola to Habanos called the Poderosos, I believe, or Ponderoso.
Those are tough
or
picks,
Poderoso.
Sal. Those are tough.
So Javi says smoke all of them. Okay.
Javi's right. Javi is correct.
Okay. Oh, we got to add to the show. Let me bring him into the chat here. You can't see him, but Mr. AZ, how we doing?
AZ.
What?
Brother AZ.
AZ, holy crap.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Welcome, dude.
We get a mic check over there. Everything's working good?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Amazing. Yes.
Very good.
Sounds
AZ,
good, brother.
which one of these three cigars should I smoke? The Poderoso Bolivar Belgian exclusive, the Absolutos, or Siglo 6?
Bolivar, for sure.
Okay.
That's the one.
Beautiful.
There you go.
And you said that was a 2013, Sal?
I believe so. It may have been released in 2015, but I know it was made in 2013.
Very nice. What are the pairings tonight, gentlemen? I'm smoking a Trinidad. I don't know what this is. It's a 4-incher, whatever this is.
Looks like I'll be here.
I'm smoking
There
the
you go.
Mirafel La Estancia
There you go.
Cameroon wrapper
Nice.
blended with Cuban tobacco.
He
There
just
you
can't
go.
keep those Marifels out of his mouth.
Easy.
There we go. Oh, we got a reveal.
Yeah.
Oh my God in
He's-
heaven.
He's real. He's real.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This second sighting of my life.
Oh my god. Yep. This is history.
Out of the
History.
shadows.
Big stuff here, guys. I hope you're
Very
recording.
nice.
Well, yeah. Well, of course.
We'll delete it later. We'll delete it later.
When he joined, he had his camera live, and I wanted, before I brought him onto the stage, I was like, "Are we good? Is everything okay? Because I can see you. Just want to make sure." And,
Sorry.
Yes.
I mean, that is awesome.
Dude,
So, yeah.
yeah, this is great. I mean, it not just AZ on, but like AZ like in person too. That is fucking. This is a rare treat.
Yes.
This
is
doesn't happen often.
A true Cuban Sunday. And can we
Welcome,
acknowledge how handsome Leo looks, dressed up to the nines here?
Oh yeah.
I'm doing my best Jurassic Park John Hammond.
Nice.
It's very nice. It's very nice. For pairings, gentlemen, anyone bring anything out? I went with the rum. It's not a Cuban rum, but I got some Foursquare here. Some delicious
Four
stuff.
squares baller.
So
I chose
starting
this,
with
the Capa 23 Solera.
That's a nice
which
bottle.
Is, yeah, I've been waiting to open this.
So I'm starting with the 7, and I'm gonna finish on the Selección.
Okay.
Nice.
Matt, no whiskey for you?
Fuck no. I have coffee. I have espresso.
Very nice. Do we cover what you're smoking there, AZ? I was trying to catch up in the chat here.
I'm smoking a BK 52.
Oh, oh,
All right. All right. I like it.
that's baller.
I mean, I think I like it. I've never had it. One day. I'll get there one day. So, Sal, I mean, I love the flag, right? You got a little patriotic flair this week. Is that just for the stream today? I mean, or is that something you put up?
No, it's just for this moment.
There you go.
You're not filming another podcast after this, perhaps with like a political theme of some sort.
That's a different flag.
That's on That's on Rumble. That's on Rumble.
That'll have a different flag.
You look like one of them guys. I gotta tell you.
Oh man, that's awesome.
You're gonna wear your hat with the horns coming out and just go out in your tidy whities.
What the hell are you talking about?
Storming the Capitol.
Yeah, are you
Too
drunk?
soon?
Come on.
Too
Come on.
soon. Too soon.
Some respect.
Let's see.
That's right.
If you guys are joining us with the Cuban in the
Nostrovia.
chat, let us know. Let us know what you are smoking. This is probably for the voting process. Overwhelmingly, everybody in my story was like, smoke the Trinidad. So a lot of Trinidad fans out there.
Yeah.
I had somebody DM me about resharing your thing and said, smoke that Bahia.
There you go. What's I mean, we'll go through Trinidad. You guys have a favorite that you have smoked? You know, if you've had a few.
That Fundadoras that AZ sent. I don't have much experience, but that Lancero AZ sent was really freaking good. Very good.
That little thing you're smoking, the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was delicious.
It's like the Cuban Principe.
What about you, Steven? Any favorite Trinidad?
I like the Fundadoras, but I also like the La Trova.
Okay. Sal?
Fundadoras, La Trova, Bahia, Media Luna. I want to get the Cabildos, though. I haven't had that, and I understand that's amazing. I think AZ could probably tell us about that. Yeah, you know, we'll just
Pretty
stick
much all
with
of them south.
No, there's a few.
Yeah.
I like Trinidad.
What about you, AZ?
Fundadoras for sure. Number one.
Yeah. That was the cigar that blew your socks off, right, Matt?
I mean, for a Lancero, a size I don't like that much, that was one of the best Lanceros I've had. It was a little bit snug at the beginning, but it loosened up as it went along. It ended up being a great cigar.
And that cigar is no longer produced, correct? That is a hard find?
It's hard to find, but it's in production.
Oh, it is. Okay. Gotcha. I don't think I've ever seen one outside of what, you guys post on the Discord or whatnot. So what do those go for?
Double Coronas are generally harder to get.
Yeah.
The longer the cigar, the harder it will be to get.
That's with all marcas, pretty much, for Cubans.
Mm-hmm.
They just make less of them due to the smaller leaves.
Well, they can make more with the same leaf, right? So one double Corona versus 2 Robustos.
Sure.
Gotcha. What's going on here through the chat? Who's this handsome guy under Peter? Looks like he has high credit score.
At least 650, right, AZ? At least 650. That's what it takes, right?
At least, yeah.
Unless you're watching the Avengers, then it slightly goes
You can run a
down.
credit check for you.
Especially Inno's on there. Oh, the worst.
Oh, geez.
What's up, Fred?
You know-
Smoking a Byron? Good enough, man.
Sal, you have that Seago 6 that you were looking at tonight too. I think that's a great stick. I like that as well.
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah, I might get into that as well. I might smoke both of these at the same time, just just to
I've
for
got,
comparison's sake.
My last AZ cigar here out of the bundle is this
Nice.
P2.
Partagas. So that's my second cigar tonight. This is from Alex and this is from AZ. So thank you very much, AZ. And thank you, Alex. I think Alex is smoking this with us tonight, this exact cigar.
Yeah, it's a little different than the typical Quai d'Orsay blend. It's nice. I like it.
And Skinny, this comment here, the Diamond Crown Man, that's your latest review, unless you put another one out.
You yen trader, if you are interested in further understanding the Diamond Crown Maximus,
Beautiful.
go to Instagram.
You're
Skinny
getting
money on it.
You're getting quite the following.
Am I?
Well
Oh
deserved.
yeah.
I'm hot right now.
You're on a heater.
Yeah, well, I'll upgrade my mic.
You and NVIDIA. Let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
You know, can I tell you that I called Skinny today? Right? I picked up the phone and I called Skinny, and he was in the pool. And you know what he did?
No, so say it ain't so.
He picked up the phone. He
I picked up the phone for you,
You
Sal.
picked up
in the
phone.
fucking swimming pool.
And it was
I
a
had to
rotary
grab
phone at the boot.
in the towel, and I picked it up.
That's all I'm gonna say.
It said Sal Jenko.
Skinny's one of those guys that when you need someone in a pinch, you can call and you know he's going to pick up the phone.
First thing he says is, "Whose car are we taking?"
Right. Gotta pick it up. And that, thank you for the support, fellas, and for the comments and all that stuff, because I wanted it to be fun, and it looks like it's fun and it's working out. So it's fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's super entertaining, and
Yeah.
and it's great descriptions.
Yeah, it's awesome. A lot of good time.
Enjoying about the content is it's a review, but it's like a Skinny review. It's not really about the flavor notes and all of the nuances of the cigar. It's how you enjoy it and then what it brought you to, like your scoring system.
Yes. Yeah. You guys have that served. You want flavor notes? You go right to Carpy.
There you go.
What's going on, Edgar? So on the topic of Cubans tonight, anyone hunting some Cubans down that they haven't had yet? I mean, for AZ, I imagine there's got to be something out there that you haven't got your hands on yet, right? Being a serious collector that you are, something eluding you that you have just seemed to get your hands on.
So not really in after 1990, not much. But some pre-embargo stuff I'm still chasing. Other than that, regionals and everything, they come up by often on auction sites and stuff. You can get.
Pre-embargo. Okay, so what are you looking for that far back?
So, for example, Monte 2 pre-embargo is a very different cigar than current Monte 2. So I want equivalent comparison to regular production stuff, so I can see what was the difference.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Have you smoked one before? Okay, so you have a frame of reference of what it might be like already.
Yeah, the challenge with that is storage, of course, because if somebody, it could be cardboard at that point, so it has to be stored perfectly. It's been,
Right, which is the challenge because I'm new to Cubans and I've purchased some off of recommendations of where to get them, and you said this place stores them a little too wet, they're not as good as this place. Even though you can still acquire some of these cigars, it's not always the best representation of them. So I guess when you're looking for cigars that are that old, I mean, you before you put the money down, you really want to make sure that it was stored properly all the way up until present day.
Yeah, and there are some markets, for example, for vintages. UK market is very favorable because you can see the shop history that's hundreds of years of old and their storage and everything. So your starting point is very strong.
Yeah. Oh, we got someone else in the chat.
What's up, guys?
Roger.
Roger.
Raj.
What's going on, guys?
What's up,
Just
buddy?
when you thought it couldn't get more sexy, it just did.
Shit.
How's it going, man? It's a lot of you guys tonight, huh?
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Hey, AZ, let me ask you a question about that. So, is it mostly that like these specific brokers are sort of following older collectors that might be aging out and like tracking the collection at a certain time? Like, how would you even come up one? Because I'm assuming the boxes will be open, so then there's an integrity to the cigar. So the broker relationship, I guess, becomes more key there.
Yeah, so there are multiple ways depending on the cigar. For example, you can go to some lounges in UK market and buy vintage cigars, right? And they'll smoke them and whatnot. But if you're going into specifics, then they show up like so to the auctions and stuff like that. And those boxes are sealed with provenance. So first auction, sold price, second, and everything. So they track the whole history. Just like rare coins and stuff like that. It has provenance attached to it. Otherwise, it doesn't have any value.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you smoking, Roger?
I got this Cohiba. I don't know which one this is, man. It's just the Robusto. I think Midnight or Tony sent this to you and me, right, Peter? I had this for a long time, man.
That's over a year. I couldn't remember. I think I smoked it already if it was that one.
Yeah, this is the one, man. We'll see how it goes.
Nice. And congratulations, right? You were celebrating your anniversary, was it this weekend?
Yep, this weekend.
Nice, man.
Nice.
How many
Congrats.
years?
Shit.
How many
man.
years?
I think like 13 or 12 or 13.
What do you mean you
Damn,
think?
she's
You
put
just
up with you for a
celebrated-
minute.
Yeah.
You just celebrated it and you got to think about it, bro.
Well, we didn't say the years. I don't think she knows either.
Come
dude,
on,
like-
Angie. You could do better.
Roger,
Oh,
don't worry about it. Are you happy? Is she happy?
That's it, man. That's it.
That's what matters most.
He's happy. I don't know about her. Maybe we can get her on the panel and see what's going on. You
Screwed,
know?
man. She has to deal with it.
That's awesome. But what about you, Sal? Any hunting you've been doing for some Cubans or?
Not lately. No, actually, I haven't been.
Okay.
But I'm always interested in, when I get back into it and I, kind of see. Lately, what I've been doing is I've been communicating with people that I know that are serious collectors, and finding out what they have and what they're, willing to part with, and it's a whole kind of it's a cool thing, but yeah, that's that's about it. I might go later tonight and take a look around.
Get inspired by the episode and go
There you
some
go.
shopping. There you go. Let's see. What about you, Steven? Because I mean, you're another serious collector for out of our group.
I feel like I'm always looking. I don't know. I keep an eye out, especially for the new ELs. So I've been able to get the Cabildos and the new Ramon Allones Absolutos, but the Upmans are still eluding me. I don't know if they're out yet.
They're coming out. Right?
Yeah.
In some shops, they're there.
Okay. And we got a comment here from Patrick. He has a Cuban Cohiba, the year of the rabbit. He's saving it for his birthday, which is coming up here on the 17th. Have you guys had that cigar? Also, is this a celebration cigar? Is it a special cigar? Well, it is if you're going to put it on your birthday, right? That gives it something special and something to celebrate right off the bat. But I'm pretty sure, Sal, you enjoy that rabbit a lot, right?
It's a beautiful cigar. It's one of my favorites. I know I don't think Matt cared for it too much, but I mean, cigars are different, palates are different. Even though we have a very similar palate, that could have been a one that was a little off. They still need some time, I think, but 2019, you would think that thing is good to go.
Yeah.
I love it. To me, it's one of the most buttery cigars out there.
Yeah. Sean's asking the hard hitting questions. Finally, people can start asking the real questions around here. AZ, how do you feel about humidity and Cubans?
Well, humidity in general for any cigars, I treat all of them equally. It's important.
Even
There's
your
a
dumb
lover.
ones? Even
A
your dumb
lover of
ones?
humidity.
Even quorums.
Even
In
quorums.
quorums.
I know a lot about storing quorum. Trust me.
Even forums deserve humidity. Did anybody see the video that Mr. Herklotz put out about humidity?
Yeah.
Talked about cigars. He said all you need for a cigar is humidity and something that can contain that humidity, whether that be a Ziploc bag, a Tupperware, or a beautiful humidor. It doesn't matter as long as it seals and it can hold humidity. That's all you need. It's a pretty cool little video. Generally for. I think it appeals to everyone. All of us who believe that, and maybe some people who don't really know. And
Believe it.
Yeah.
maybe we could send the copy over to your buddy, Skinny.
Yes. Happily. He's always open to dialogue.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
open.
well, talking about storage for Cubans and some of you, especially you, AZ. I mean, all the experiments that you run. I've seen you doing vacuum sealed tests, running different humidities in those. Everyone usually asks, or I've heard that you want to store your Cubans a little bit on the lower end, not, it's like 62-ish. I don't know if that's, a number that you subscribe to, but what's your normal process for storing your Cubans? Because you do long-term storage and then you do, more non-long-term. So if you want to run us through that.
So there are two categories. One is the stuff that's already aged and I don't want it to age further, and the stuff that I want to age that's fresh, right? And then there is a process of preparing the smoke before I smoke it, dry box it, right? So for the stuff that's already aged, I want to slow down the aging as much as possible, which means the colder temperatures and lower humidity, right? So low 60s, that's the target. In temperature, you can go high 50s as well if you like. But and you can seal them to, and sealing could be anything from vacuum sealing to putting it in a Ziploc with a COVID in it, right? You just want to contain that environment as much as possible to external factors, avoid contamination in any aspect. So that's part one. Part two is then, other than humidity, temperature is very important because absolute humidity is very important. So if I'm going higher temperature, then even lower humidity has high vapor content in the air. So 70, 62 is very different than 62, 62, right? So for Cubans, because I want to age them long term, I prefer lower 60s temperature and lower 60s for humidity as well. For smoking, if it's a vintage cigar, I actually bring the humidity up because I want more flavor out of it. So 65, 66, and about low 60s to smoke. But then it's not about bringing the humidity up of the cigar, it's about bringing the temperature up. Because if I take it out of cold storage and light it up, it will swell up and just go haywire. So I want to stabilize it in the environment I'm smoking, and then I light it up. So just those are some of the things.
Acclimate it to the environment you're going to smoke it in.
Yeah, it's almost like a staging, if you will, like getting them out of hibernation, keeping them steady for a little bit of temperature or a little bit of time, and then going in to have that cigar, which makes a lot
I
of
even
sense.
do that with wine. Same way. I'll get a bottle out a day or two before we want to drink it in the room, and we're going to drink it and set it upright and get it ready to
Acclimate
go.
it. Yeah.
Hey, what about the inside of the ration? You just leave the box open, no plastic on the box inside of the ration.
Well, depends on the type of humidor. Rating works very well, but there is variance from shelf 1 to, let's say, shelf 6 or 7. So you want to see where you want that variance to be. It could be 61 here and 65 at the top. So depending on the goal and the criteria, you will put that box there. But then the other thing with those kind of humidors is that you want to rotate your boxes because there will be hot spots in the humidor based on where it is and everything. So other way to look at it in a zoomed out way, net you want stability. Right? There will be spikes, but if you draw a straight line, it should be stable enough. But then this is overdoing it. Just put a Cohiba in and it will work out.
Okay.
Fitzy, I have also seen some Cubans for sale at gas stations. Let me know if you want them. I believe Behikes are like $25 at my local gas station, so I can hook you up, buddy.
Is this in
We'll
New
be-
Jersey
we'll be
area?
down. We'll be down
And
for
they
a
put
couple
them in
boxes.
cello too. When you get them.
They put them in different boxes too. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, glass tops too.
Glass top.
Yeah. Very cool. What about you, Steven? Pretty much the same thing for your storage?
Yeah. I don't know. I've crossed a certain boundary where like my 2 thermoelectrics are just full, and so I've gone to the Tupper doors now and the Igloo and the Herfs and that style. And I like the ease of managing it because my home's temperature controlled anyway, so I've been able to keep consistent temperatures, and the Boveda makes it stable. And also that, like the Herfs, for example, are like big and easy to see into. So I've been buying more of those for that kind of ease of storage. But yeah, I like pretty much all my cigars between 62, 65 kind of in there. But my Cuban's more 62, my non-Cuban's more 65.
Yeah. And that's the downfall of those electric humidors, especially like, the 48s. For a beginner, they're great. You can store quite a few cigars in there. But once you start collecting boxes, that's when it becomes an issue because, there's only so much space in those little coolers. And I think I had 4 or 5 of those Need 148Ls, and I just gave up because I would have to buy one like every week. And I was like, my basement is 65 degrees like all year round. So I'm lucky enough to have like really good temperature control. So I just went to top the doors on everything. It just makes it way easier to manage a collection, especially like once your collection gets to, pretty substantial size.
Your setup
and
with
they
the
say-
racks.
Yeah.
Your setup with the racks is ideal. I mean,
Yeah.
And the cedar shelves. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Going to all the plastic, I was worried about the smell. So you clean them out like you would when you get them at first. And then I used to have them all loose, just like in bags, but that's a nightmare, like moving those around. So once I started getting the cedar trays, and then I bought a 3D printer to print like a little locking system where all the trays stay manageable and on top of each other, and it's more organized and the airflow is a little bit better. And then you also have the cedar trays to give you some flavor, if you believe in that. So it's a much easier system to manage for me.
Oh yeah, and
I
those
just don't know
Need
how you don't-
148s. Oh, sorry.
I don't like how I don't understand how you can't store them in the boxes. I just can't stand to have my cigars without the boxes. Man. I just love the look of it, love having them there. Even just like pulling back the flap on a dress box of Cubans is like just pulling the panties down for the first time. You know what I mean? It is.
As soon as he said
It ain't,
flap,
it
I
ain't
knew that's
bragging
where
if
this
it's
was
true,
going.
Skinny. It ain't, you're
I
not
mean,
bragging if
come
it's true.
on, man. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, there's nothing more special than doing that, man. It's just beautiful. The whole thing just adds to the whole pizzazz of it, man. It's like it's all right there.
We all remember our first time,
Well,
Skinny. We all remember.
AZ, I think you would agree that, especially on a racing with the amount of fans on the shelves, it's pretty. I don't recommend leaving singles out on the shelves. In the drawers, I think it's fine, but on the open shelves, the box is fine. I don't know what you thought. What your thoughts are?
I agree. I 100% agree. The fan control will eventually take the aromas away at least and accelerate the oil evaporation. And as soon as the oil is gone, then you won't be able to put it back in. Aging is pretty much done. So you want to slowly get the oil mixed up between wrapper, fillet, binder, right? Not let it go away. But I do boxes because it gives you more control and resiliency.
Yeah. So do you find when you acquire cigars that are, very old, that the vacuum sealing is the best way to go to kind of maintain what's already been aged, out of them, keep what remaining oils are still in the cigar? Like, is that the process?
So if when you get the box, you smoke the cigar, or check the aroma, whatever, and it's according to your liking and you want it to stay there, I would seal it. Right. But if you think you want to still continue aging, then yes, just keep it in your aging stash or something. It's not that it won't age in a vacuum; it will just age extremely slow, right? Because of lack of oxygen and air exchange. So depending on your goal, both there is no wrong answer depending on how your palate likes vintage smokes.
And it's even different when you have a tubo or non-tubo.
Yeah, tubo
Best way to
technically is a
store 'em-
vacuum.
I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
The best way to store them is in your brain by smoking them. Like, it's like- then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So what do you think happens with tubos? Do you think that even slows down the process even further?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Time
I think it also helps to maintain the integrity of the oils and the tobacco a little bit better in the tubo with the cedar sleeve than if they were just in a box or
More stable environment,
is that
controlled environment.
Yeah. And the other challenge with tubos is they are more susceptible to mold. Because if the humidity is high to begin with, then you're just containing it and it won't be as resilient. But if your starting conditions are optimal, then it will age very well. And what I've learned about cedar is it's just a resiliency layer. It's not going to add much flavor. You're not going to notice it. It's just the resiliency of it will retain some moisture control for you. And if things fluctuate, it will stabilize for you. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed a lot when I added in the trays to my tupperdoors. Like my humidity on some of my cigars, especially a lot of the broadleaf stuff that I like, really retains a lot of that moisture. So a lot of my Dunbarton tupperdoors would always be at 68, and then the rest of my collection would be 64, 63, but the boxes are right next to each other, so I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I realized I don't have anything absorbing this moisture, so I went and I added the trays, and that helped a lot. And I used to run 65% Bovedas in my entire collection, which was fine. But I recently went down to 58 and 62s, and majority, almost all of it now. And it's really brought down like a stable RH to the entire collection. Nothing really ever goes past 65 RH anymore.
Yeah. I think the dream of any person. I guess please go ahead.
Well, I've also switched all my stuff to 62, and with calibrated hygrometers, it stays right around 65. I do what I was going to say earlier was those Need 148s. They say they hold like 300 cigars, but that would be like 300 petite Coronas, right? They only really hold like 200, 250. Yeah. So I've done the tupperdoors with those trays, and I held up one of the things Peter created, which stacks the trays nicely. And the only difference is in the summertime, I got to bring my tupperdoors down into the basement. I don't have a large storage area that I could just keep them. So they're in my bedroom during the winter because it's the right temperature. That's how I control my temperature with the tupperdoors.
Hey, we got no judgment. We got no judgment here, Carpy.
Put a little
do with your
blankie
cigars
on
what you
them.
want.
Soon they'll be
Put
in
a little
bed.
blankie on them, tuck them in. Yeah.
I'm sure the wife loves all the tupperdoors bedroom. She can't get enough.
Yeah,
of it.
she'll get over it. She came out here to bring me a coffee, and I was like, "You want to try this?" And I thought she was going to go away with it. She's like, "Ooh, I like that one."
Now I know where the idea of a shootout came from.
Yeah.
AZ, someone asked earlier, I went by that, I believe it was Nick, what is your favorite Cuban that you have smoked to date?
Well, as all of you know, that's a very hard question because it changes.
Sure.
It's like there is recency bias of what I smoked yesterday versus overall. But there are some cigars that's you like because of the history and story behind them. Like if you get to smoke a Cuban Davidoff, there is a history behind it. That this is no more. This is the limited supply that I'm consuming from. They stay with you. But if we are just talking about flavor, then recently some Grand Reservas, especially Partagas E2, just an excellent cigar. Ridiculously priced, but great smoke. But then some regionals like La Reina, El Rey del Mundo, excellent cigar, Lancero. El Rey del Mundo Con Tiki, which is a 109 head, excellent cigar. And some other regionals like, of course, Edmundo Dantes 109, 54, 24, so you can't go wrong, all of them. Amazing cigar. So I can't pick one, but if I were to just pick one, it will be a Lancero Vitola for sure.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Hey, Keith, what's going on, buddy?
What's up,
What up,
Keith?
Keith?
Az, when you're talking about the Montecristo #2, the pre-embargo as being a lot different. Like, is it just the flavor profile from being so advanced age, or was the shape slightly different? Was the blend slightly different back then? Like, what's the biggest difference? Is it age?
So it is age, and I don't have all the data because I don't have the fresh cigar data, right? So it's already aged, and I'm comparing it to a lesser aged cigar. But the other aspect is every year the crop changes, right? So Habanos changed the seed around 2000s or late 90s or something to prevent the blue mold thing and whatnot. Right? So
97.
so the flavor has changed. But then other than that is the smoothness. So cheesy way to say it is that cigar smokes you instead of you smoking them. It's just so effortless. It's still flavorful. It's a beautiful cigar.
Mm.
That's what the
This
behavior
Double
did for
Mundo.
me, AZ.
This Double Mundo is hitting the spot so far. I'm having a hard time not smoking it too quick. It's really good.
I love the Edmundos, man. The wide Edmundo,
Yeah.
the regular Edmundo, and for me, my favorite is actually the Petit Edmundo. I think that's the most flavorful. I don't know. To me, it is. And then maybe the wide Edmundo.
We got a question here from Jack. Is traveling into the States with Cubans somewhat easy? Is that an issue still? Can you bring some back? Because I've heard mixed things, like if you go away, you're allowed to bring some back with you, or maybe you just get lucky and someone's not checking your luggage very well.
They're 100% banned. You can't bring back if you're hypothetically found with them, they'll take them away.
So
Yeah,
the struggle.
Imagine too, especially I think now, maybe for the next little bit, it might not be a great idea to do that at customs. Just
Yeah.
They
maybe.
take away your global entry. And that's
right away.
Oh my God, I'm not. Listen, they can have the cigars. I'm not risking my
You're-
global. I'm not standing in line. Get the hell out of here.
You're gonna have to go extra hard with the American Express to get you out of that one.
Yeah, dude, you're not taking my global entry. You're not taking that.
You know what? That might be the one time, Skinny, where they don't pick up the phone.
AZ's like, what's global entry?
Right. Yeah, no.
My dual citizenship might come into play here. I can live in Portugal for a while. I'll be okay.
Yeah, it's best not to play with the feds unless you got Fed case money.
Yeah.
Well, this cigar is unbelievably delicious. Incredible cigar.
Nah, it's crazy how their lack of I don't know. I know there's something in the soil, but there's also people say even the apples, the oranges, everything that's coming out from produce and everything coming out of the ground in Cuba, just with the way they've kept that environment so pure. You wonder would all tobacco. I guess it couldn't potentially taste like that, but you understand what I'm saying. It's
The terroir means a lot there.
they've kind of gotten the last laugh on a lot of things because those people, while they don't have all the developments that we have through this embargo, have kept, all the things that their land always had. And it's just, you can taste it in the tobacco. It's so special.
Even the rum, Skinny. The rum is another one that stands out.
Yeah.
I think what they have going for them, the terroir, of course, there's nothing like it, even though the Dominican Republic is 60 miles away, it's completely different, right? But more than that, it's geographically where they're placed near the equator, their altitude and the level of humidity, and where they grow the tobacco, that microclimate that is there, based on all of those things, their longitude, latitude, altitude, humidity is very unique to that area, and there's nothing else like it. And the
taste
soil,
is just
and
so
and the cats. I know the cats that take care of the soil, and they're fucking geniuses, and they are so passionate, and it is so important to them that soil for that tobacco is cared for properly. It's it's beyond like a job. It's
with no advancements. Like I don't know what technology is advanced. I don't know everything about it, but it's just it only comes from God. Like
there isn't hardly they're not using a lot of technology at all there. However, they have employed brilliant scientists to figure out how to naturally and organically care for that land.
Yeah. It's great.
Well, since a lot of guys don't have the luxury of getting Cubans and trying everything out that some of us have been lucky enough to either get through the community, and this is kind of one of AZ's most popular questions that he likes to ask. AZ, are there New World cigars that don't necessarily give you 100% of what a Cuban gives you, but is there anything you've had that could kind of give you a rough ballpark and a Cuban-esque ballpark of some of the experience that you get with
quorums aside?
Yeah, of course.
That's top of the chain.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a direct comparison because some people like chicken, some people beef, fish, whatever, right? So just like with wine, different terroirs and whatnot. So I smoke, for example, Padrones, Listens, because they have their own identity, and you are not going to find that in Cubans. So depending on what your palate is. But there is no direct similarity that if I cannot have a Cuban, what can I smoke to replace it, right? But then because you're then picking some parameters, maybe you're picking some cedar, some cream, lightness on the palate and stuff. And that's hard to replace. But having said that, there are some cigars that get you close, for example, in terms of construction or some parameters, like some selected tobacco products, some Davidoff even that has that lightness on the palate. But I haven't been able to find a direct replacement so far, and I'm still looking. Right, I still try everything new word. It hasn't worked out very well.
So Edgar,
yeah, you recently got a box of the new chef special, trying to find that Cuban replacement, correct?
I smoked it.
Nailed it.
Unique cigar.
Nailed it.
What'd you
right?
say, Izzy? You didn't like it? No.
it's not good. It's not.
I don't think many people have.
Yeah.
Well, it does enforce why other cigars are better. So there is an upside.
Yeah, there you go. So what he was kind of saying without saying it is, if you buy warped cigars, you'll get as close to as a Cuban experience as possible.
That's not what I said at all. That's not what I said at all.
It's in the subtext.
Yeah, we know what you meant, AZ. It's
To the
fine. We know.
subtext.
Well, just taking a step back though, and just appreciating what a blessing it is for us to even be able to have this and have this kind of a time. It's
Yes,
absolutely
Very fortunate.
proof that God loves us, right?
it's a blessing to have the time to smoke any cigar. So
Yes.
regardless of what you are smoking, if you're enjoying
That's right.
it and you got 2 feet on the ground here, enjoy what you're smoking, because
Cheers.
God knows. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers, Leo.
Well said, guys.
We got a question here from Ben, though. Can we talk about extreme aging? I don't know if this is old or not, but we'll touch on it again. What's the oldest Cuban anybody on the panel has had that's had enjoyable flavors, uniqueness? Feel free. Steven, do you have a cigar that you have?
Yeah, it's not extreme age by I think AZ's kind of scale, but for me the oldest was the that Bolivar 109, the Quinta Avenida, that came out in 2009. My review has not yet dropped for it, so I just smoked it recently. And actually, I smoked it for you, Peter, in my hot tub. So you'll get a film of me in my hot tub smoking it for the review.
I won't even see this.
We all have the same question. We all have the same question. I don't
This
mind.
is some special channel.
Yeah.
Nope.
Steven's only fans.
Yeah.
Is there nipple in this or what?
Only sticks.
As long as there's 2, that's
There's
okay.
clips, skinny.
No 3 nipples, please. I can't handle that.
And that's a pretty big cigar.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
I didn't,
But-
I didn't jump in on that at all. So
Yeah. Sal, what about you? Have you had an older Cuban that really stood out for you?
You know, many years ago, I was able to have access to cigars from the 1930s and 1940s, different Habanos, mostly Partagas. Really interesting. I don't, you know, it was so long ago, it's not real fresh to, you know, give you very articulate information. The last one that I had that did have some age on it, which was recently last year, I smoked a Davidoff, a Cuban Davidoff from 1988, and it was absolutely delicious.
There you go. And for you, AZ, is there something that stands out?
So, before I answer that, to smoke older cigars, you have to match up your palate or set up some certain expectations. Because if I'm smoking, let's say, a Padron, and I light up a vintage cigar after that, there is no point. Right? I have to pick up nuances, and I have to give it the
Correct.
respect it deserves. So, with that, the oldest I've smoked, I think, is from 40s. They don't make that brand anymore, and it was very flavorful, and you could see the intent of the blender. But it was no cigar really ages out if you store it well, but it does get weaker with time. Yeah. So you have to pay a lot of attention. So it was still enjoyable, but I would prefer a cigar that's in at least 60s or 90s or 80s. For example, I smoke there's a cigar Partagas de Partagas #1. It's from 90s. They don't make it anymore, and that cigar is still stronger than a fresher D4. So depending on the blend and where it is, you can still find very good vintage smokes.
Okay. Well, piggybacking off of, you know, everyone says you need to age Cubans, you need to find the sweet spot for them. I've also been hearing that the newer crops of some of the cigars have been very good, and that smoking them fresh is not really, you know, a detriment to your smoking experience. Sal, I know you've said that. Is there anything that stood out recently that you feel like is good to go right now, not something you have to sit on for a while?
I mean, late, you know, recent releases, I do think that this Absolutos is completely smokable right now. I think it's very nice, but it also tells me that, you know, smoke some now, put them away, come back to them in, you know, a year, 2 years, what have you, because they're only going to get better and better. Very good right now. I think smoking very good with the potential to age and be extraordinary. So I would say this guy.
Yeah. And what about you, AZ? Have you smoked something recently that you felt like, wow, this is something I don't need to necessarily long-term age. It's ready to go right now and enjoy?
So it depends from marca to marca, from brand to brand. And there is difference in sick period. Like the definition of sick period is that if I open the box and I, you know, ammonia and nitrogen and it's pungent, then it means I just need to rest it. I smoke it, I'm not going to have a good time. Right? But then sickness travels through the cigar because of how the air circulates through the cigar. The cap is closed, it only enters the full crowd. So it might be sick in between as well. So that sickness, the only way to know is to put it used to be 3 years, 5 years to just get rid of the sick period. Because as soon as the tobacco is wet again, a micro-fermentation starts. Right? So then ammonia gets introduced again. That has reduced quite a bit in latest crops since I think 21, 22 in my experience. And even there are now boxes like this Absolutos is February, March box stamp. So not that old, couple of months old, and it's smoking well. So they are doing their diligence in reducing the sick period. But after that, then it's a subjective game. You might like it fresh, you might like it with 3 years down based on your palate because taste cannot be made. But all of them will age, but you got to get rid of the sick period, which has reduced in recent times.
I think you can kind of boil that down to, in terms of aging, doesn't necessarily mean the cigar is going to get better. That's subjective. That's really up to you. But what it will do is get different. It will change. It will mature. It'll evolve and become something else. Better or not better that's totally up to the person smoking it. It tends, in my experience, to make it better, but that's just an opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, would you agree, Sal, that with aging will not help bad tobacco and bad craftsmanship, but aging can help quality tobacco and quality craftsmanship in most cases?
I mean,
Even if it's 6 months.
I don't, to be honest with you, I don't know the answer for sure to that. But what I could assume or guess at is that if you are purchasing something of a lower quality or very kind of corporate grade tobacco, your experience is never going to match or be in the same stratosphere as a cigar that has been fermented properly, that has been aged properly, that has great construction, high quality tobacco. That those are two different worlds. So, I don't know if age can help shitty tobacco. Maybe, maybe not. But what's the difference? It's never going to be.
It's never going to be
Yeah.
a good cigar.
It's
And
it's
So
most
Ben, those
certainly.
Gurkhas aren't getting better.
I was going to say it's most certainly not going to help those chef specials. I don't think you could do anything to help
Oh
those new
God,
chef
you're
specials.
killing that fourth cigar. Jeez.
I didn't buy one. I didn't buy fucking one.
I'll send you 5. I'll send you 5 of them. Let me know how it goes.
It's like
A
the
lot of people
Walmart,
can get them in bombs from
like
me.
the fucking Walmart of tobacco.
Yeah, yeah. But that goes with anything, Sal. It's just Cubans, right? No matter where you're buying cigars from, the better tobacco is always going to, stand out. I think in a cigar. Period.
100%. And if I could just take a minute, and to Az's point, I do know that in the last few years, in Cuba, they've been adding extra fermentation processes, which means by the time the cigar is rolled, it's that much further along. Therefore, when you get it, and he's talking about the sick period, where the sick period could be 6 months to a year. Maybe now the sick period is much less. But the point that I wanted to make, and is what you were talking about, Peter, and you, Leo, is I've got this saying that everybody in the Discord and amongst our friends knows is bangers only smoke bangers. And what does that mean, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to spend $100 on a cigar or whatnot. To Leo's point, it is choosing cigars that have been crafted with passion using high quality tobacco, right?
Yeah.
And something that you love.
Yep.
Period.
I think the Ocean Breeze is a good example of that.
And it's great tobacco. Yeah.
It's affordable to everyone, just about.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Skinny?
Hey, yeah, my question is, I guess to AZ and Epicurean as well. Like, as a business, we see the people who run the business in these other countries, your Carlitos and guys like that. But, they're doing a good job being stewards of the tobacco that they have. But I don't know who are the business people. Is it also Cuban business people that are running these companies and understanding how to develop these? Because they're like now global iconic fashion brands, very, very distinguished customer bases, these festivals they throw and the events that they have. And I'm just wondering who's actually running the businesses. What?
So, well, it's not a latest development, but Habanos SA runs the business, which is the parent company for everything. And distribution chain is Habanos sells it to a distributor like Hunters and Franco or Phoenicia and Middle East. And then they sell to La Casa del Habanos or Habanos specialist stores, or some stores that can still sell Cubans. But those are official distribution channels. But business is controlled by Habanos SA. With the latest acquisition of Chinese side buying significant amount of shares in it, the prices are going up, and so is quality in some ways as well. But at the end of the day, it's Habanos SA.
And they are Chinese businessmen, I guess, that are understanding how to tap into the welfare with the way that they're doing the portfolio.
It's both. It's Cuba and external investments.
And so I would wonder what other, because they're actually very good businessmen. Like they really have made something like the cigar and changed it, into a really an elite internet, almost like the fashion industry to a certain respects. Like,
well, the unfortunate reality of that is that up to a certain point, it was just cigars, very good cigars, appropriately priced and whatnot. So in the last 4 years, It's pitched as a luxury item. Some of the cigars are $700 a euro a cigar, which is very different demographics in the market. But that doesn't mean there not other things you can pick up from. But they are definitely trying to target a different demographics with it now.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the numbers, they sold less cigars but made more money.
Yeah.
So more special editions, limitadas, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think they're trying to shake that stigma of Cubans need to be aged, since some of the stuff that's been coming out more recently is, considered smokable now from a lot of guys? Do you think they're trying to shake that image that, listen, you can store and age Cubans and your experience might get better over time, but the stuff we're releasing now is definitely up to par with some of the stuff that you might be sitting on?
Yeah. So I think so, because if you're paying, let's say, $50 for a cigar or a Robusto or something, you expect a certain quality. If they don't deliver on that promise, that demographics will shift away. So I think that's the intent, and they are somewhat partially successful in it.
Well, the global dichotomy of how they're marketing not just cigars, but a lot of high-end luxury items like Louis Vuitton and those type of companies as consumables, and they want you to buy, consume, and repeat. And if they have that at that price point that they're making those margins, and they want that clientele to buy, consume, and repeat. Same as with wine, and Skinny tells the story over at Greenwich where that dude comes in and buys 15 boxes of Padron every 3 weeks. They like, that's what they want. They don't really want just you buying a few cigars and sitting on them. They want you to smoke them and do it again.
Yeah.
And what would be like an example of a collectible current release right now, like one that you could buy and smoke, but also ones that could have a future value? There's young people on here that have the time to buy a box and let it sit for 10, 20 years. And I think everybody out there should, try to do it, because there is money in this, and that's why you want to have a collection.
Well, my suggestion would be to not treat cigars as an investment, because you could be heavily disappointed. Market can shift. Buy what you're going to smoke anyway, and then pricing can adjust accordingly, right? But if you take the parameters of collection, everybody wants the rare stuff. That's limited supply. So many people want it. Then in Habanos, that's limitadas, because 1 year and done. Regional editions, because the boxes are numbered. They only make that many boxes. But then reservas and grand reservas, only 5,000 boxes are made from every crop. So of course but the barrier to entry, they've increased quite a bit for reservas and grand reservas.
I mean, I think if there's somebody who is new, like I think what you were saying, Don, what are some things that they could get into that they may enjoy, and they may enjoy, getting into a little bit more. And I think Stephen could add to this. But my recommendation would be Cedros 52, or de Monterey. Well, I don't want to say double Corona, but Epicure number 2. Things like that. That to me, somebody who's just getting into it, it's something that is, warm, inviting, sophisticated, elegant, rich, easy to smoke, and pleasurable.
And even this,
I really,
right?
Yeah.
I really enjoy that Cedros 52. That's very good.
Beautiful cigar, man. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But Carpy, just like what you always say, but like this cigar right here is cheaper than a lot of secondary price Opus X's, right? This is less expensive than most Opus.
Yeah.
That's a 30 some odd dollar cigar. Yeah.
Right. And it's delicious.
That's the same price as an appropriately priced God's Whisper. So it's not cheap, but it's not horrific.
But it's attainable.
Either.
It's attainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just made like a whole aging video, and the ones that I put at the top of the list, I put with kind of the intention of, for people who are kind of just starting out, things that they might consider buying a little more of and putting away. Ramon Allones specially selected, Rafael Gonzalez Coronas de Lonsdales, Partagas D4, Partagas shorts, like much more like attainable vitolas. They're not fancy ELs, and they're around.
Even something like I'd say Por Laranaga,
Mhm.
one of the little Coronas, the petite Coronas.
Yeah.
Or half Corona. Is it petite or half? Which
That's
one
Petite
is it?
Coronas.
We did Corona.
P-
Yeah,
PLPC.
That's a great cigar and a great cigar to age, and it's a very inexpensive cigar.
Mhm.
And I think that's
Yeah,
Well,
it's
like,
cool. I mean, guys should buy 2 boxes, smoke one, and if you put one away, all of a sudden, guess what? You're a cigar collector. You can
Yeah.
be in the hobby.
well,
Well,
And
that's
over
the
the
great
years-
thing about buying boxes, right? Instead of just
Yeah.
buying singles or 5-packs, because you could do that.
And over the years, you end up having a collection. You'd be surprised what happens in 5 to 10 years of time.
well,
you
then
know, you
like
have-
as far as like affordable Cubans go, I mean, I just finished that Por Laranaga Monte Carlos that you sent me, Az. Thank you, by the way. But that was tasty, and my wife really enjoyed it. And I just looked it up. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
10 something
Yeah.
a cigar.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can buy affordable ones.
Yeah, people focus on like those super expensive marcas and the limited stuff, but like Cubans, just like every other brand around the world, there's a range.
Yeah. And just like how Opus became like an Instagram cigar in some ways, right? And there is Cohiba in the other front. But then if you move away from Cohiba's, Trinidad's, or global brands, that 6 of them are in Habano's portfolio, there's a lot of value to be had. PLPC, half Coronas, even Bolivars, the Belicoso Fino is a great cigar. Sub 30, sub 25. D4, right? A lot of Robusto, Juan Lopez too. And it's not ridiculously expensive, but you have to compare it to if you smoke an Atabey, you're paying a certain price. So you have to compare apples to apples from pricing perspective. You can get a
Exactly.
Cuban that's less than $16. Rafael de Gonzalez, Corona Ceylon still, right? Great cigar, right? Aging potential and everything. So depending on if you're smoking for the brand or for the flavor side of things, there's a lot of value to be had still.
Yeah. And some of the brands that are like what you're saying that are, not the big name brands, but are a little less known. Of course, they're more well known to us, but we're, thinking about it 24 hours a day. But just to, a normal smoker, I love Stephen the El Rey del Mundo Torquinos.
Yeah.
What a fucking bang! That thing was a banger, man. And how much is that? That's a very inexpensive cigar.
Oh yeah,
Sub
the
25.
Gloria Turquinos.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's like right around that like sub $30 price point. I think like 25. I remember just buying that box. So yeah, it's a good cigar.
I love the Torquinos. I think La Gloria and El Rey del Mundo have beautiful cigars that are
Schwa Supreme.
affordably,
I
yeah,
like.
really, and like you said, Rafael Gonzalez, that is a super fucking underrated banger. The Coronas de Lonsdale, and I'd like to know how many people pass over that, going like, oh, that's a fucking, a cheap shitty Cuban or whatever, blah blah blah.
Keep it a secret.
That have some sort of an idea in their head is it's not the, doesn't have that mystique of elegance or whatever it is because of the
A lot of
price.
people are just getting lost, though, in the marketing machine of the American cigar business that's constantly got something new and shiny to sell them. And it's like, don't forget about these. They are attainable. You can get them, buy them and store them, and maybe not fall for the newest ad on Half Wheel that's talking about some cigar or whatever it is. And, this is you're not going to get jammed this, and a lot of them are going to be standard issue and regular stuff, and it's not going to seem as exciting. But buy it, store it, collect it.
Matt did that review of the Vegas Robania. That's not a horribly priced cigar, but what a banger that is, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Great cigar. Wonderful cigar.
I only smoke for the gram body, just to let you guys know. Just to let you know.
Thanks.
Xavier's asking here, what are some common characteristics in Cubans for construction or flavor? He's not sure if his Cubans are real. Well, post the image on Discord and we will let you know right away.
Carpet will let you know.
I had to give Hugo hell about that one.
He will not let you know lightly. He will let you know firmly. Your shit is fake.
You're
He's gonna break out the protractor.
He's like the biggest
Well-
hater ever, dude. He's
Well, fucking that one. It was almost immediate. You look at the Cohiba band and you're like, nah, dude.
Mhm.
So to be fair, I talked to Ugo about this yesterday,
yeah.
and
I get that book. Yeah,
he's working on something. So there's a reason why that fake is there. He's aware of it.
Okay, we'll give him some leeway on that one.
Yeah.
But common characteristics in the Cuban profile, guys. Do you want to shout out some things that just you
Butter.
seem to? There you go.
Butter, that bready, baking spices, brown sugar.
Hay, cedar.
Yeah.
A lot of the marcas have like floral notes.
Yeah.
But a lot
Sweet
of
until
times
you
the
get
big ones
into
are
the-
still Cuban tobacco, which is not the blend that the guy
Honey.
intended.
Oh yeah, honey. Until you get into that Cohiba Maduro 5, which is different than everything else, and it's wonderful.
I love that cigar, man. That
I
is
love that
fantastic.
cigar. That's life changing. That and the Beheke, nothing else tastes like a Beheke to me. I've only had the one easy, but thank you. But nothing tastes like that.
The
I
other
think-
aspect that I found, please go.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Nazy.
I was saying on the palate, it's a lighter on your palate. You can smoke 2 Cubans versus 1 Padron. Right? It's not trying to bring your palate down, so it doesn't stay for a long time. That's what I found with Cuban tobacco.
Not
That's what
fatiguing.
attracts me to it. Yeah, it doesn't fatigue your palate.
We got to touch on this because he's said it a few times. He wants to know why I love country music so much, AZ.
There is one song that Nick likes a lot, and it's my ringtone for him. I think he's talking about that.
That's nice. You know you've made it when you have your own ringtone for AZ when you call him.
I'm just imagining save a horse, ride a cowboy.
I
Very
hope
unique
that-
I was
song.
figuring she thinks my tractor's sexy.
Oh man, that's great.
I'm completely lost on all this. What's going
I
on?
don't know what the
What
hell.
those little songs that you guys just make?
I'll ramp you up, Sal. I'll ramp you up. It's
Yeah,
Oh,
Roger's
sounds
all
very
about
friendly.
Husos. What's his name? Husos Lamos or whatever. I don't know. The
Peso
fuck his name is.
Pluma.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, is he the
What a
screen?
banger.
The guy that screams?
No, Peso Pluma is like, I don't know, man. He's like one of those. I think he started that Edgar stuff, right? I don't know. I just know that they have the stupid Edgar haircut, sing that weird ass music. Peter likes it. He knows what it is.
You
He
think
likes
you can pull off that haircut, Roger?
Hell no, bro. I don't have enough hair for that, dude. If I put my hair to the front, then the bald in the middle and the back will show, dude. I can't do that.
Well, listen, when you get back from Turkey, I think we can make it work. dude.
I'm gonna try.
Me
it.
and Peter are gonna try that haircut next.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
take
let's
it's gonna take a while there. But I'm dedicated. I'll try anything.
That Turkish hairline starting right above your eyebrows.
Yeah, the straight line.
You guys will know. You guys will know. You guys will know.
Works for Elon. It works for Elon.
Yeah. What's going on, Sid? Lighting up a Monty 4, man, that you picked up in Spain. Nice. Welcome. Nice.
Another characteristic of Cubans is that most of them, I'd say that by far and away the majority of them tend to be crescendo cigars, where the best part is in the final third. They don't. A lot of New World shit out in the final third. Majority of New World shit out in the final third. Not the case with Habanos.
You know,
That's
it's
a
funny. It's
fucking
funny you
great
said that
point.
because the last third of that Trinidad was the best third. Like it was very good the whole way through, but I had to put it down because I was getting close to burning my fingers. It was just sweet cedar, like hay and honey, and it was fantastic.
But even if it's linear, it's good the whole way through, start to finish.
And the flavors become richer and more intense and rounder and fuller. And, it leads me to think it's something I think about all the time is that, many of us, when it comes to cigars, especially non-Cuban cigars, we just completely accept, well, 2/3 of that cigar might be good and, probably the last third, and I don't think that that's something that should be accepted when you're defining what a good cigar is. I don't think that is a good cigar. I think it might be a decent cigar that maybe you smoke 2/3 of and you throw the rest away. So And then how does that affect like what you pay for that cigar? You're paying for a whole
Missing
cigar.
out on a
because-
third of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I don't know. I just like to throw that out there. I don't think it should be so readily accepted that a cigar, is going to tank in the final third and it's going to be a good cigar. Because to me, that's not. That's just what I think.
You find it in everything. People are buying fast fashion. You wash the shirt twice and it loses its color, and everything. It's the same thing, dude.
Yeah. For those who are just joining us now, what is everyone smoking? Carpy, I saw you light something else up. What do you got there?
It's not a Cuban. It's made by a Cuban though. It's Alex Glez sent me this. It's not a cigar he releases. It's got a Honduran piloto in it.
Very nice.
It's pretty
But
good.
it's a tasty cigar.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
the Rabanya?
No. It's not a cigar he released. I was like, hey man, what are these 3 unbanded ones? He's like, I don't know if I'll make it. I probably won't, but I wanted you to try it. It's like,
Yep.
hell yeah, buddy. I
Cool.
haven't had a bad cigar from him yet.
Nope.
So
Let's
That 109
you know
is
what?
baller.
Let's give him his due right now. That guy
Yes, sir.
is fucking is swinging for the fences and hitting it out of the park most of the time.
Heck yeah, man.
Like
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
on fire.
And-
He's doing a great job, and he's a great fucking guy.
And he's not
Yeah.
taking his foot off the pedal, even though he's doing a good job. He's even making changes to improve as he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
He's not settling for riding on his coattails. He's continuous improving.
I think we've all, I was going to say, I think we've all had the pleasure of smoking with AG in the virtual, and he is super receptive to feedback. He likes to know, if you liked the cigar, he doesn't care. If you didn't like it, he wants to know what you didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Tweaks you can make on it. He's just always seemed to be researching, like anytime people are smoking
R&D.
stuff, outside of his brand, he wants to know what you're enjoying. He's been, super interactive in the Discord, and that's awesome to see someone that's trying to connect with the community and just kind of like crowdsource and then make cigars that he likes and that other people in the Discord like, which is, that's really cool.
I also think that he lives kind of near where Steven and I are, and I'm sure you connect with him quite a bit. I'm connecting with that guy at least 3-4 times a week, and he really wants to know, like you were saying, do you like the cigar? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Or is there something wrong with it? And I have had a few where there's been an issue, and I was 100% honest with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt really weird. I think, Mike, I called you and I was like, how do I tell this guy that, I didn't like this because of whatever it was. And he was like so happy to hear that type of honest feedback.
Yeah.
And it was like, look, okay, let me send you these things. And
he doesn't take it to heart. What you're saying, Sal. He's like a chef. If he's making a meal, and not everyone's going to like that meal, and if you didn't like it, he wants to know why, and he takes that feedback, and then maybe we'll go back to the drawing board with it, or craft a new recipe, for a cigar. But he's always trying to get better and see what we're smoking in the board, which is really cool to see.
And he's always smoking his fellow New World cigar maker sticks constantly.
Yeah.
And asking about it and talking, and he's doing the work, and his heart is in it. He's not doing it just because he wants to compete. He's doing it because he wants to learn, know, and understand.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing about it is that he will tell you, I don't know enough about Nicaraguan and Dominican and Honduran tobacco. Like, I still have a lot to learn. And I think many of us have, given him cigars that we think he should try and, understand what that is. He's constantly researching. And by the way, he's making fucking great cigars. And if he doesn't know about the tobacco now, imagine what the cigars that he's going to create once he understands, what all the different tobaccos are and what they do and how they, it could be really special. It already is special.
Sure.
Well, it's clear though, is he's leading with what he doesn't know. He's leading with quality and quality control. He's not just letting it go. He's constantly on it.
All right.
Nice mug, Carpy. Matt caught it.
It's the wife's.
Yeah. Sure it is. Sure it is. What's going on, JB? Good to see you, man. But I think what's been really nice about the whole, harping on the community for, CUD and the Discord. I was not a Cuban smoker. I had never smoked a Cuban. If I did, I don't know if it was real or not. And then just making connections with all of you guys, and AZ, I believe, sent me a plethora of my first Cubans to try. It was really a blessing because I kind of it was kind of written for me because I'm like, I'm not going to go through the hassle. I'm sure New Worlds can kind of get close, but there is a distinct flavor, a distinct profile that you get from these Cubans that is different than everything else. And just kind of now knowing what it is, I can seek those flavors out, not necessarily replace them, but appreciate them a little bit more for what they are. And Sal was gracious enough to send me a ton of stuff as well. And, it's just added on to my knowledge of what we're doing, for a hobby. I believe AZ and Salas, they probably sent more Cubans to a majority of the Discord guys. I know Leo, that's how you got connected with Cubans. I know that's how Skinny got connected with Cubans. It was not necessarily something we were seeking out, but just the community brought it to us, just, sharing our passion, our love for the leaf. And, I know, Skinny, when you smoked your first Cubans, you were blown away.
Yeah.
Epiphany.
I had smoked them, but I didn't have an opportunity like this. And you know what? It's not going to come to everybody. Like, it was kind of, got lucky with it. I wouldn't expect everyone in here to think there's a welcome package.
No, there isn't.
No, but what a mind-blowing experience.
But I mean, and then doing it, and the most important thing was just absolutely smoking through them. I smoked 20-something Cubans in a week, and you had to jam it in there, and it was just absolutely incredible. Like, this stuff seek it out, buy it. You can afford it. It's absolutely priced the same as this type of stuff. Get it, smoke through it. You're going to give all the same money to all the other guys. Just go ahead and do it with this stuff. Just smoke through it and understand it. It's
and to that, cheers. Thank you guys for your generosity, and not just this, but the whole entire community, the whole CUD. Yeah. It's a generous community. I mean, it's such an enjoyment, such a blessing. So cheers to the community.
The best part of it is that it's the one part that reminds me of, like, being the OG. What it was all about was sophistication, generosity, civility. That was cigar culture everywhere that I went. It's not that way anymore, but I think we kind of, hit those tenets in our community, in the Discord, amongst that group. And I would just like to say that we were all very lucky to have someone like AZ, who is so knowledgeable and cares for those cigars with such respect and dignity, and shares them with so many of us simply because he wants us to try them and to enjoy them.
And to share that experience with him too. Learn, he loves that.
And to learn and to, compare notes and talks. Like, I mean, I do that to a much lesser degree, but that's, that doesn't happen in life very often.
Yeah.
And there are many people here. Leo, you're fucking bananas, sending hundreds of cigars a day out to people.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous.
Skinny, man, all of us.
I'm trying, Skinny. I'm backing off. Come on now.
I mean, we have all shared cigars with one another. That's pretty fucking cool. And we just continue to do that. And so that's, in the midst of a crazy world and crazy times, and things may be good or not good, or however you interpret it. This is good. And this
I've always said it's one of my most favorite parts of the hobby is sharing cigars, whether a New World, Cuban, whatnot. When you find something that you truly love and you have a community like we've built, it's always fun to find someone who hasn't had something yet, and you're just like, well, let me know what you think, and you send it. You build those relationships with people, and you don't expect people to send you cigars, obviously, but you're forming friendships with all these people that you're smoking with pretty, regularly on the Discord. And, once you've realized someone's not just looking for handouts and they're just kind of curious about things, that makes you want to share even more, because it's something special when you find a cigar that you like and someone else that you give it to goes,
No
"Oh,
dry
man."
bagging.
Yeah, no
No
dry
dry
bagging.
bagging.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right. Invest your time in the virtual lounge, get to know people, build your experience, and then if those things happen, they happen organically. Don't try
Exactly.
and push that thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also kind of fun when you like share cigars with people that you really love and they do not. And then it spurs some playful, lighthearted shit talking, which is
Peter, Pravada,
always
come on.
funny.
Oh, every
You know,
Dunbarton tunnels, right, Carpy? Jesus.
Not everyone, most of them.
Yeah.
But they're delicious when they
Most.
don't, I
Yeah.
enjoy them for
Yeah.
what they are,
Yeah.
All
yeah.
Cubans taste the same. Their construction is terrible. Blah blah blah. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
To Skinny's point, my experience from AZ especially has been something I never would have thought I would have had in my life.
Yeah.
If it had not been for these experiences. So thank you, especially AZ, Alex, all you guys. Thank you.
It's a pretty cool Discord. I guess that's what we're getting at. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. What do we got?
It's great to have friends. It's great to have friends all over the country, all over the world that you would have never met other than through here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ones that are as nerdy about cigars as you are,
Yeah.
Right. We got a question from Tommy Cheeks. What's going on, Tommy? AZ and Sal, do you feel the significance, quality, the variance between H and F EMS boxes versus non-EMS boxes? You guys want to dabble in that subject a little bit?
Sure. So let's get into a history a little bit. So why H&F got famous is, of course, is the roots into the Cuba overall. They owned a pen factory, Ramon Allones factory at certain points, the deep rooted and whatnot. But then the other aspect is that H&F started the program that they pre-aged their cigars before releasing to the market. So they kept them in their warehouses for a couple of years. So they got rid of that sick period. So that's how that perception started that they're better cigars, right? It's not that they're different cigars. But then they have tiers. Anything that's EMS stamped means they open up the box, they check each and every cigar, and if something is off, color is off, construction is off, it doesn't get the EMS stamp. So there's an extra layer of quality control that EMS employs. But then there is another layer which is just H&F sticker. That's not an EMS sticker. That is still a good cigar, but that's still distributed by Hunters and Franco. Right. So there are tiers to that thing. Other distributors don't have similar processes as much as I'm aware of. So there is that difference. But you can take care of that aging yourself as well. So it's not you're
Alex.
leaving something on the table.
Whoa. Gotta keep the panel safe. Alex, welcome for joining.
What's up,
Thank
Alex?
you, Peter, for the invitation.
Absolutely, brother. How you doing today?
All good. I feel so glad to hear all the comments you guys. Thank you so much for the comments you did about the work I'm doing, and thanks a lot.
We appreciate you, man.
Don't let it go to your head, okay? We
All
love
right, so
you.
back to the question, AZ, as you continue.
So I was saying, yes, there is some difference. But if you buy a box that's from Inter Tobacco, the Geneva side of distribution of Phoenicia, that doesn't mean it's going to be very different. But there is a certain level of quality control that you expect from an EMS box. And they charge you for it as well. So you have to adjust based on your collecting journey, how you want to approach it.
Yeah. Now, to piggyback off that, whenever you get a box in, do you open it just to make sure everything is as should be before you long-term store it? Or is there some boxes where you're like, I don't even want to touch it until I'm going to open this? Is there a process for that?
So there is this guy, Min Romney. He was very famous in Cuban community on the side. And his thing was he just kept boxes sealed, right? I drifted away from that. I check each and every box because I don't trust the storage of the distributors. It could be mold, and then I'm just harboring mold for years. So I check each and every stick, and then I isolate it for months or weeks based on the initial condition. and then I introduce to main humidor. Because if I don't check it, I put it in a humidor, then I've introduced mold into my humidors. Right? So I check each and every cigar, I get it to a baseline condition, and then I age it.
Yeah. Do you brush off your moldy cigars in your humidor next to all your other cigars, like some other famous YouTubers?
No. So, no.
Yeah.
Do you
So if
use a
you find
meter
a-
quite often?
Say that again, please.
Do you use a meter?
So yes, the thing with that meter is it's calibrated with 70F, and then relatively the number shows. It's good for baseline, but it doesn't tell me if it's too wet or not. Right? That you can check by the feel of the cigar. That meter is great. Whatever number works for you, you can stay with that number. But it's calibrated using 70F as a baseline. So I don't use it for initial storage.
So back to that whole mold thing that Peter was talking about. If you come across cigars that are moldy, are they just dead to you?
So it depends on the type of the mold. I think I wrote a post on it as well. If it's white mold and it's on the wrapper side, it hasn't gone to the fruit, then you can brush it off and isolate and see if it comes back. But at that point, I'm not too much invested into aging it long term, because somewhere the conditions didn't work out. Right. So depending on the age of the cigar, if it's molded after 3 years, then I'm not starting very strong. But if it's recent enough factory code, I can brush and isolate. But if it's blue or black mold, then it's pretty much done. You should throw it away.
Yeah, blue or black. They're just flavor crystals, AC. That's what Peter told me.
Yeah, plume. Yeah, it's,
Plume.
it's
Alex, what are you smoking, man?
Oh, I tried to smoke something special for a show like today. I'm smoking the Conde 54 Regional Edition Mexico 2011.
Nice.
There you go.
it's a beautiful cigar.
Sal,
Very nice.
Sal.
Okay, so Leo reached out to me and said, I was thinking of smoking this Edmundo Dantes on the live stream. What do you think? My answer to him, in almost word for word, was that cigar is a unicorn. It's a very rare, hard to get, and expensive cigar. And I don't think that a live stream is the proper environment to experience that cigar for the first time. Is that pretty much word for word?
That's exactly. That's why, Alex, that's why we smoked the first cigar. What was your first cigar tonight?
No, my first one was the Cuadro Size Senadores. It's really good cigar.
Yeah.
But I think today is a special occasion. A lot of friends talking about
Yes, sir.
Cubans. We have to smoke a banger. We have to smoke a unique cigars.
There you go.
Something Al I hear before you was talking like half hours ago about the aging in Cuba. I don't think so. Cuba making in the last couple of years extra fermentation. Maybe that is the history they are saying to the market, to the distributor, because the only tobacco I believe 100% they make an extra fermentation is the Reserva for 5 years and the Gran Reserva between 8 to 10 years. The rest of the cigars, they don't make that extra fermentation. It's only history for the new prices they have. Now they don't have enough cigar to send him to the distributor around the world, you know? And that is something they have to say to justify all the prices they are selling now.
Yeah. So there are tiers to that. So Grand Reserva 5 years, Reserva 3 years, Limitadas 2 years. So that's pre-roll, the overall fermentation aging. The tobacco is aged pre-roll, right? And then there is post-roll concept of it used to be, now it's vintage, grand vintage and all that, 5, 10, 15 years. But before that, it used to be second band used to come and they were aged 10 years post-roll and stuff like that. Not optimal conditions and whatnot. But if you look at the,
go ahead.
If you look at the announcement date, for example, for Absolutos, it's when it was announced and when it was released, there's a difference. So you can account that announcement time they were rolling the cigars, and there is some extra element that you can feel while you smoke it as well. So I think there is something to it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know, Cuba, they are really good in marketing. It's true they are good. They are doing a better job. It's true, they already did a new launch for the new Trinidad Vintage 10 years. That is something like create a lot of comments in the cigar industry, in the Cuban cigars, because most of the people like in England, like A.J. Patel, like Mitchell Ocean, all those people, they don't consider 10-year cigar as a vintage cigar. They consider a cigar is true because they have already 10 years, but vintage is when this 20 plus, it's like they consider as a vintage cigars.
Absolutely. I agree. The other aspect is that vintage Trinidad that they're selling in the DuPont Hero, each cigar is about 1,000 euros. So, and they don't sell singles. You have to buy the whole thing. So, but you can buy a box of 2011, 2014 Fundadoras for much less. Right? So then you have to pick your collectability accordingly. Do you want the fancy humidor and assume 10-year aging in Cuba conditions, or do you want to do it yourself?
You know what Cuba did to create that Trinidad vintage? They use boxes they already have from 2010 years ago, and they are already unbanded again, and they sell in the DuPont humidor for 55 units. And it's the same. You can buy the cigar for less price from 2010, from 2012, and you will get the same experience.
There you go. JD's got a box of Trinidad's in his cart right now. The Vajilla, is that correct?
Vajilla.
Yeah.
Vajilla. Yeah. He wants to know what the flavor profile is like because he might be buying a box. You guys recommend that as his first Cuban box?
Absolutely.
It's a great cigar.
But he's buying it from Swiss Cuban, AZ. Is that okay?
No, it's not.
He's buying it from the same guy Sal fireworks from earlier in a shed.
That's right.
Somewhere.
That's right. Back in the battery.
That was wild. That was all my kid, man. He like the whole thing. Got to go to Jamba Juice and call the guy, and then he's going to give you a place to go. And it was like a whole.
It's a drug deal.
I thought you just cut the guy a check for the whole thing there, Sal.
But that I did it really quick because I'm pretty sure that he didn't want me taking video inside of his munitions. But that was just a little piece of it. I mean, the truck's full of it, huge. Yeah. I mean, you drop a match on that place, and it's like the 30,000-pound bomb thing.
To Matt's point, this is a crescendo here. This is baller.
Yeah.
Nice.
Same thing with this guy.
Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
And as far as the Discord information, if you look at Cigar Hound Dogs, Master Your Ashes, or my Patreon, you'll find a subscription that'll, subscribe to the Patreon. You'll get a link. It brings you into Discord, and you'll be privy to all the fun that we have over there.
And I've heard people complain about, oh, I gotta join a Patreon to get in the Discord. If we didn't do that, it would be a free-for-all, and it would be full of trolls. There's a very small barrier to entry, and it seems to keep the trolls out for the most part.
Most of them, yeah.
Well, it's hard to keep 200 people in line. I'm doing my best, everybody, okay? But overall, it's a pretty good group of guys.
You need an extra level of fermentation.
Oh, well said. Well said.
You're going to be my muscle skinny. I'm going to promote you. I'm going to make a new cigar or CUD ambassador enforcer title.
Right.
And I'll have you be the guy.
We'll hit you out the disco with the digital bats.
Oh boy! So I lit up a Monty. It's very good. I think for the Trinidad that I had beforehand. But how's everybody's cigar doing?
Yeah, I've lit up a Monty too, and a Special.
Very nice.
Courtesy of the master, and it's absolutely.
How was your first cigar, Skinny?
It was great. I wanted that.
What Vitola was that?
That was the 50. The 50 gauge La Estancia. This is just really gives it to you. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, all Cuban. Bro, come on, man.
Yeah. So Alex, those 109s, pretty good, man. Pretty good. I was impressed.
Good.
Yeah. There's
They
something
need
special.
a little bit more time because they're fresh, but these are good blend.
It's a
Yeah, for
very
3
good
weeks
blend.
old. I mean, holy cow! Just wait till they're 6 months old or a year.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
we've been telling people too, Alex. You know, in the Discord and whatnot, or outside. It's like because you reached out to me and said, Sal, these are only 3 weeks old. You know, smoke one now, maybe smoke two. Tell me what you think, but put the rest away. Come back to it again in 3 months and see what you think. And I think that's a great, that's a great way to explore that line, man. It's fantastic, really.
Very nice.
That's going to be an exceptional cigar.
And the
Thank you for
Glorioso was my first one, and it was wonderful too.
Thank you for making a 109.
Thank you, Sal. I tried to do with the 109 something I really love. And I try to use also like a old Cuban, old school from Cuba. If you see the boxes are different, it's like an old style A98.
Yeah.
But instead to I'm making like the box of 10 because normally the cigars is in box of 10 or box of 25. Cuba, they're making box of 20 now, but long time ago, normally they don't make the box of 20. Something was really unique for Cuba was the Gran Reserva. The guy who created that size for 15 cigar is Jorge Mikey. He's now the general manager from Carrillo. At that time, when he created the first Gran Reserva box of 15, that was like crazy. Everybody say, you are crazy how you are making box of 15, doesn't exist. And that box was the boom. After that, everybody loved the box of 15. You know?
Nice.
The Siglo 6 Grand Reserva. That's
Yeah, the
good.
Siglo 6 and Reserva.
Yeah,
That was the first one.
that's baller stick.
Just want to point this comment out. Thank you, Jonathan. We try our best, buddy. We try our best. But we have a question here from Dollar Dude. He's relatively new to premium cigars. Any recommendations to seek out for his first Cuban?
I mean, it would be nice to know what he already likes, because
Yeah.
if you're a guy that's just smoking super bold shit and then you get one of those like fajillas, it's probably not going to hit your palate right.
Or Kate or
You know, so maybe recommendations for milder Cubans if they're into milder cigars, and bolder Cubans if they're into bolder stuff.
Yeah,
Exactly.
what would you lean into, AZ, if you had to recommend both spectrums, bold and more of a mild blend?
So, well, my generic suggestion would be to try everything, right, from the marca, but to scope it down a little bit. Take the marca that was first blended. For example, for Cato, would say it was the Cronus Claro, right? See what the brand was trying to do with its intent. Right? And then for Bolivar, maybe try a Bellicoso. Or if you want something stronger, Corona Junior, Petit Corona. But in terms of strength spectrum, Ramon Allones, Partagas, and will be on the medium to full side. And then there's Hoyo de Monterey, great medium cigar. And then there is Trinidad, which could go from mild to medium. So try different spectrums. But if you're a strong smoker already, start with Bolivar or Partagas or Ramon.
Yeah. What about you, Sal? Do you have recommendations?
Yeah, I mean, I think for some of the guys, a typical palate would be they're smoking darker, bolder cigars, Nicaraguan tobacco, lots of earth and pepper and leather and things like that. I would say you're not going to find that in a Cuban cigar, so forget about that. But I would point them to Ramon Allones. Even just the specially selected to start off with. Look and see if that's something I think that would resonate with the guys smoking bold Nicaraguan cigars. For guys that are smoking more Connecticut shade, your Davidoffs or whatever the million different brands out there, I would point them toward K. Dorsey, as AZ was saying, explore the Coronas Claros. I love the 52, the 50, the 54. They're all great. Again, a safe bet is or de Monterey Epicure number 2. That's just kind of on the safe side. And then if you want to get like esoteric, then you can kind of look into other brands like, okay, for the bolder Nicaraguan guy, maybe looking into Sancho Panza or San Cristobal to see what they have. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to go. Smoke them all. They're amazing.
I think, yeah, that's right. And I think what AZ
they're
put me
real.
through in the boot camp, if you want to smoke, if you're going to smoke a Cuban, you have an intention of going for something different, going for something that you can appreciate the whole spectrum of what it is, understanding what it is from the ground up. I'd say smoke as many of them as you can, but go into it with the attitude of learning, understanding. And it's just like someone that started drinking heavy California Cabernet and then asking them to smoke French Pinot Noir. There's appreciation, and there's so much there that start wherever you want, but smoke as many as you can.
Steven, do you have any recommendations? Oh, I think you're muted.
I was lighting up a new cigar, and I didn't want you to have to hear it. So I think you can decision tree this. I think that you can. The classic recommendation for a long time has been the Epi 2. So Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 2 gets that kind of easy recommendation. But even if somebody has prior experience, if they try an Epi 2 and they need more, they go Bolivar Ramon Allones. If price matters, go smaller Vitola, Ramon Allones specially selected. Price doesn't matter, and you don't mind a gamey sort of note on your cigar, then you go BBF, the Belicosos Finos. If you try the Epi 2 and you like that, you stay on that line. You try the other Epicures, you try some H. Upmann, Magnum 46, Magnum 50. And if you're okay with an Epi 2, but you do like a lighter profile, maybe you're a Davidoff white label smoker, yeah, your QDs, your Por La Reñaga, you like a bigger Vitola, you go Galanes. If you like a smaller Vitola, you can go like Mike was talking about, the Monte Carlos. But you can kind of decision tree it based on the Epi 2 and see where you need to go from there.
Yep. That's why I don't know a ton about it, but I was saying Epi 2 would be the baseline, right? To cut to the chase and then work off of that any way you want it to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about Alex? What do you think?
Yeah, Alex, do you have any recommendations?
100% agree with all you are saying, guys. I think the EpiQ number 2 for beginner, that is the correct cigars, And normally for the people who smoke Nicaraguan, you never will find something be close enough to Nicaraguan. But for people never smoke cigars and they want to start with Cubans, EpiQ number 2 always is a wonderful recommendation, or something milder like a Cuatro Sai. And for people who already smoke strong cigar and they want to compare with Cuban, they have to go for Bolivar, Ramon Allones, Partagas. Those are really good.
Yeah. I saw Nick mentioned the Robina, Alex. I don't know where it went, but what a freaking great cigar. For a guy who doesn't like lighter stuff all the time, I've smoked that a handful of times now, and it hits on all cylinders for me, man. I don't know what you did, but it's a fantastic cigar, and I'm glad to see so many people enjoying it.
Amazing.
Yeah, that is a good cigar, man.
You're kicking ass, buddy. You're really doing great work. AZ, have you had any of Alex's cigars yet?
I have. I tried the Robina. Great cigar. It reminded me of K Dorsey a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you try to model that cigar after anything, Alex? Was there a kind of blending process to try to nail something in your head?
Yeah. Normally, that cigar, when I start to blend that cigars, I was trying to make blending for Asian markets. And normally, Asian market is so difficult when you are blending because most of the cigar they smoke are Cubans. And when you are making cigar new words to making good enough for that market to accept that cigar, and also they are so rigorous with what they want. Normally, the Asian, the Chinese, they give you only one chance. They don't let you making two. You try to make the best as possible at the beginning, And that is why I agree with AC. I try to make that blend as close as possible to the water side because it's a blend I couldn't match better with the raw material I already have.
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
I need we need another truckload. Is that possible?
Yeah. When we can have a chance, we can meet here again, Sal, and we can smoke again. We can smoke the Robaina, and I want to let you smoke the new Trinidad Cabildo. I am my favorite brand from Cuba is not Cohiba, it's Trinidad. I love Trinidad, but Trinidad Cabildo is the first time in my life I smoke a Trinidad with that profile. It's a cigar. It's really strong to be a Trinidad, but it's a really good cigar.
So is
All
that
right.
your favorite marca, Trinidad? Or what would be your favorite marca if it's not Trinidad?
I love Ramon Allones because for me, Ramon Allones is one of the most consistent brands in Habanos. It's a cigar you can choose anytime and will be so consistent. Something sometimes is difficult with the rest of the cigars. Like, for example, maybe you can choose a Cohiba. The people believe Cohiba is the top of the top. It's true, Cohiba is really good, but also depend where those Cohiba they are made from. Because in Cuba they have like a 30-40 different factory making Cohiba in all of the factory around the country, but not all the factory have the same standard of quality, and not all the factories receive the same raw materials. That is why for the people who know about Cubans, everybody they are hunting boxes. They have the stamp from the Laguito factory because Laguito factory is the best factory in Cuba.
So you
know,
suggest
it-
other factories for those brands, for example, La Corona and for Upman, Up and
Yeah.
things like that. Okay.
Yeah. That's interesting that you mentioned that, Alex, because I've been, when I talked to Mike, he was like, look, don't just think you're going to buy this and, it's going to be that. He goes, let me guide you because I know what cigars are made where and with what material. Because sometimes the material that's in those cigars is, I don't even want to say what it is, but it would be, surprising.
Yeah.
It's
So,
true.
and he has a very good handle on that as far as I, have learned.
AZ, do you have a favorite brand that is your go-to?
So it keeps on changing. But if I were to just pick one, I would pick Hoyo de Monte Double Corona as my cigar because it will keep things interesting for a long time. But then Cohiba Lancero, it's not just one brand that covers all. But I love Fundadoras in Trinidad, and then there was Topaz limited edition 56 ring gauge. That's a very good Trinidad. Now it moves around, but I have to go cigar by cigar.
Gotcha. And what about you, Steven? Do you find a brand tends to lean more into what you enjoy than others?
Hoyo and Kilo Arce.
Okay.
Been smoking a lot of Monty lately, and I like those too. But yeah, Hoyo and Kilo Arce.
Very nice. Oh, what's going on, Alchemist? How are our Cuban? Very good. It's too bad you can't join us tonight, man.
Too bad he can't spell either.
One day at a time.
wanna-
We're working on it.
I want to touch back on a comment I saw a little bit earlier.
Sure.
I think just with any group of people, you'll run into some egotistical guys, right? But if you get in a group of guys that are like truly passionate about cigars, I think there's not a lot of that. There's people just want to be nerds about the shit together, share their experiences, and help guide you to other things you may like. I mean, at least within our group, for the most part, it's all guys just wanting to help you find your next favorite cigar. There's egotistical people everywhere, so you're not going to entirely avoid that. But for the most part, I've found our cigar community, at least, is welcoming, friendly, and willing to share whatever knowledge they have.
Yeah.
The
And I
flip
think that
side of that
ties-
too, I'll be real quick, is that
Yep.
if you're looking at someone that has experience, is established, knows what they're doing, everybody that's here, right? And you're someone that's new looking in that, you could be a little bit intimidated. There could be a little bit of insecurity there, and then you're like, oh, they fucking know everything. They are egotistical. There's that side of it too.
If you got a bunch of
Well, he's-
musicians that get
just jealous
together,
of my
for-
Sorry.
if you have a different genres of musicians, you're gonna have a jazz guy that's gonna pick on a death metal guy. You're gonna have
Sure.
those guys meet, you hate rap music or whatever it is, but so yeah, you're sticking up for your genre and stuff you like, but there's nothing egotistical in it. I think everybody, if somebody loves a cigar, it means nothing to me if they buy it,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I would never care.
I mean, I
all.
think for such a wide, diverse group of people from all over the country who interact with each other on a daily basis, it's pretty fucking civilized. Unusually
Very.
civilized.
Very.
And to tie
I
it back
do
in,
think- Yeah.
go ahead, Sal, finish.
I
finish
mean,
your
I do
thoughts.
think that, not always, but for the most part, it seems like, a lot of people deploy empathy,
Yeah.
when they're talking to someone else with either more or less experience or whatever. And usually it's nerdy people who are very curious, and they want to find a great cigar and, and want to share that great cigar with someone else. Back to you, Peter.
Well, just to tie it into the whole Cigars Unbanded thing, I think that's a part of the lure of the pack, right? You don't know what you're smoking 90% of the time, unless it's a Vitola that's pretty specific. Once the bands are off, there's really nothing to know about the cigar. You're going to smoke it and rate it on the experience you're having. And, we've smoked cigars from brands that a lot of us go, they don't produce anything good. And all of a sudden you're smoking a cigar and you go, this is not that bad. So, egotistical, some of us maybe for certain brands, like everyone's got like their favorite thing. But I think the show proves that if you take a band off a cigar and you're just smoking for that experience in the moment, you're going to find things that you like from brands that you might not like, and vice versa. There might be a brand that you love and you smoke that cigar and you're like, what the hell was that? So
Yeah.
it's a fun experiment to be connected with in the community, to smoke through cigars that you don't necessarily know what you're enjoying.
And if you don't agree with me, you're a fucking idiot. So let's just get that straight. All right. Let's call a spade.
You know what, Sal? No place better to end the show than there, because we're about at 2 hours anyway. So I think it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank Alex for joining us. We appreciate it. We're going to have an AG episode for sure. We'll get you on and do a proper episode
Thank
for
you,
Alex.
Peter.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything you're doing for the Unbanded community. The guys love it, and we appreciate you being so active in it. And we're happy to support a guy who's supporting us. So Skinny, thanks for coming on. Leo, not bad for your first live stream. You did well, sir.
Did great, Leo.
Leo.
You did awesome.
I love being with you guys. It's been so wonderful to have this.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. You've been great in the community as well. The guys love you. Steven, thanks for coming, man. We can always rely on you for a Cuban episode. And AZ, it's been a pleasure, man. Hopefully not.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully
Thank
not the
you,
last.
AZ.
Hopefully not the last Cuban Sunday we have you on.
It's
been fun.
fucking awesome, man.
It is.
We could have you on every Sunday, AZ. We could have you on every Sunday.
I'll take that up with my wife first before you make promises, Leo. Okay. All right, everybody. Anyone else on the panel want to say anything before we head out?
Thank you all.
Fun show, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you so much, Guy, for what you are doing for the cigar community, because that work you are doing, making like a blend testing, giving the opportunity not only for the legend brands, also for the boutique brands, because when you are smoking, you don't know what you are smoking. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Doesn't matter who is the producer. You are trying to give the most honest review for that cigar you are smoking. And that is something that people appreciate it.
We appreciate that. Yeah. We
Well,
enjoy
you better-
the show, man.
You better make more cigars, Alex. That's all I got to say. It's coming, baby. Look out.
There you go. Leo, Skinny, any final notes?
I'm
Tons of
good.
fun.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy yourselves.
Make sure you follow
Right.
Skinny Money on IG for the best Instagram reviews. That's all
Phenomenal.
we'll say.
Phenomenal review.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Skinny Money under 2 underscores, I believe it is. Make sure you check them out. AZ, and final comments?
No, thanks for having me and smoke the best in your budget and have fun.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming on. Steven, you got anything you want to plug on the way out?
We got a 4th of July review and then my hot tub review the week after. And
Nice.
yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm mostly interested in the hot tub reviews.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That could be a series. That could be a
Oh,
series, Steve.
We'll see how it does.
Yeah,
Steven after hours.
Yeah.
It's a
Even
great
so-
idea, Steven. Looking forward to it, dude.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, we'll see you next Thursday for the first cigar in July pack. And that'll be same time, 9:30 Eastern. So we'll see you then. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us. Everyone on the panel, I appreciate you very much coming on.
Sure.
And we'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Night, everybody.
cheers.